Today we're going to take a look at the garden from last year after we left it to some of the new plantings we did this year. This is along the driveway and these are all new. We got this breadfruit recently from a guy. He claims it's a red breadfruit. I never heard of it, but we'll see what happens, I guess. We just planted that this year. And over here we've got a rose apple tree. We have a lot of rose apple trees scattered around the property. They were here. It's starting to fruit now. They're pretty good. But rose apples everywhere seem to have a problem, some kind of a, I don't know, I think it's a virus of some kind or fungus that's spread by bugs, because we had the same problem with those in Hawaii. They introduced something in Hawaii that spread that, I remember. This is a jackfruit we just got, just planted this. I don't know, it's a seedling, so who knows what we're going to get. But jackfruit's good though, because even if the fruit's bad, you can eat the seeds. The next one we have is a hog plum. We just got this one recently and planted it. It's awful small to be flowering, but I don't know, I guess they flower that young. It's probably an air layer. This is a Spanish lime.
It's canepa.
Canepa they call it here.
Yeah.
It's a seedling, but they claim that they know the sex by the seeds. So hopefully that's true. Because I think there's some of them, there's male, female, so you're not sure if you're going to get fruit. The person said that this one they know by the seed that it's a female. The next one here is a lychee that I had air layered last year. We just planted this here, but it's a new one. It should be fine because it's an air layer. It should fruit within a couple of years. And the same with this one. We kind of like lychee, so hopefully they'll fruit here. There is one down the road fruiting, so that gives me hope. And we got another rose apple up there fruiting. And this one here is obviously here. It's a mountain apple, and it's, zoom in over there, it's busting out with flowers now right there it flowers right off the trunk. We had some fruit last year. It was a good fruit. The birds liked it too.
Where is the flower, the pink one?
There's a flower here.
Oh, right there. I'm not sure if you can see it though. Oh, there, yeah.
You can zoom in on it maybe.
There. Let's see. That's the coconuts.
These are some coconut palms we planted last year. They did a little bit, but I mean they were covered. The weeds were just as high as the plants. So we got them hacked down now, so they should do better. And here's some remnants of our sweet potato. But I kind of dug up this whole area because I'm thinking about putting a shed for the excavator there. This is a Java plum. We planted this last year. It didn't do great. I don't know, maybe the pH is off, because usually these things grow like weeds. We'll see. It's going to sprout out soon. Here's some pineapples we planted last year. And some new ones we planted this year. But it hasn't been raining enough yet to soak into the ground. So pretty much everything is still dormant. It's just starting to rain and sprout now. It takes a lot of rain to soak into this ground. It's like a sponge. It just soaks right through. We got a
Papaya.
papaya we just planted this year. Hopefully that does good. We like papayas. Green. And there's our vegetable garden. We got mostly cucumber. We're trying different things, but tomatoes definitely we don't have down yet. I don't know how to grow tomatoes yet. We'll figure it out. This is a pomegranate. Like I say, it's just everything's just starting to sprout. And this is some kind of local lime the guy sold us. I don't know what it looks like exactly, but we haven't had fruit yet on it. But he claims this is their favorite lime they use in drinks. The Garcinia intermedia, which is the common name as lemon drop tree. So we planted that last year, and it's starting to sprout good now. We got another one over here. In this area, it was full of weeds. I tried to mow it, but it was too steep, so I had to come in and try to fix it up so it's possible to mow. I think I can do it now. This is Jabota Caba. It's starting to sprout out good now, and it's popping out with flowers, and it fruits right on the trunk. You can see one right there. And it only takes 1 month from flower to ripe fruit. And it'll fruit several times a year. So it's a nice berry to have around the yard. And this is another Spanish lime that we planted last year, and it seems to be doing well. This is a mango we planted last year. It's doing well, and same with that one down there. We've got several varieties of mangoes. I don't know which one is which anymore. I guess we'll find out when they fruit. I'm sure some will fruit better here than others, so we just tried a bunch of different varieties. It's a little bit cool here for mangoes and wet. They kind of like it dry, but I've seen other mangoes fruit, so I think they'll be fine. Probably not heavy, but they'll fruit some. And this is a tamarind tree we planted last year. And when we first got here, the weeds were covering it, so I accidentally mowed over it. But it survived it, and it just got scraped. It should make it. And this is a balimbi. It fruits similar to the jaboticaba. It'll fruit right off of the trunk. And it has sour fruits they use for cooking, and you can eat it too. I mean, it's just a little sour, but a lot of people like it like we do. This is another breadfruit. We just planted this one this year, just recently, because I just excavated another trail over here. This is supposed to be a red one also. We got two of them. Breadfruit is nice. So we like to eat breadfruit. We grill it and do all kinds of stuff with it. This is a pomegranate. You can barely see it. It was covered by weeds also. It took us like a week to find it. Hopefully that'll come back. I see pomegranates around, but I don't know. They're a little difficult for us to grow, it seems like here. These are plantains. We planted these last year, and they're just now coming out with flowers. These took a little longer than the other bananas to flower, but they're doing it now. This is a suntal. We planted this last year. It seems to be healthy. We had a little bit of a landslide and it kind of covered some dirt on it, but pulled that back and it's doing fine. And this is the loquat we planted last year, and it seems to be doing well. I think it's a seedling, so I'm not sure what we're going to get for fruit. And here's a mulberry. We planted this last year as well. This is a cacao. It was just a twig when we planted it. It's still pretty much a twig, but it's starting to sprout now. It should grow. Here's another lemon drop tree. That was planted last year also. But towards the end of our stay here, because I moved it, it was planted in the wrong spot. This is a mango we planted last year. It seems to be doing the best out of all of them. We'll see how it fruits. Here's another one. It was near dead, covered in weeds, and it had like scale insects, all kind of stuff, and I didn't know if I was going to make it, but it sprouted and it looks pretty good now. So something's chewing on it, but it's not much. This is a avocado. It's done the worst out of any of the trees. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. I'm not a big avocado fan, so it's not breaking my heart, but I know they're picky about something about their roots, because it did well when we planted it. And then when we came back this year, it looked like this. And it's got some white flies, but nothing major. There's some soot on there, like it had some aphids maybe, but I don't know, it's just sitting here. We'll see if it sprouts. If not, I guess we'll get another one. This is a Barbados cherry. It's flowering now. It's got little cherries on it. I kind of planted it too close to the edge of the cliff. So I don't know if it's eroding out a little bit. Hopefully it makes it and it holds the edge of the roadway. And these are some real tiny little seedlings we planted last year. I just literally pulled these out of the ground from the neighbor. This is the breadfruit that you eat the seeds on. You don't eat the flesh. So this was planted just for the seeds. You boil them and you can eat them like nuts. And here's our banana patch. I think we showed you a little video on them already. Pretty much all of them are fruiting now. We're starting to eat these little ladyfinger bananas. We're eating those already. We got a bunch off of one of them. This is a nice bunch. I think it's an apple banana. It looks like it, but we're going to wait a little bit and then pull it off and let it ripen. This is a breadfruit we planted last year. It's I think the typical white breadfruit. It's doing well. I think they like it here. This is a guanabana, or soursop. It's doing good, but the scale just loves it. There's scale insects on it. But I think it's overcoming them because I put something down to control the ants, and the ants kind of support the scale and the mealy bugs and aphids. So yeah, if you can get rid of the ants, that helps a lot. So it's sprouting now. It looks good. This is our citrus section here. And this is the lime tree. These were all planted last year, but covered in weeds completely. We've actually gotten like 4 or 5 nice big plump limes out of this when we got here. And I cut it back a little bit because it was growing odd, and it's fruiting again. And the citrus was struggling a little bit because of they don't like being left when they're this young. So this was all like covered in weeds. We had to hack it down, and most of them had aphids or some kind of soot problem on there, but they're doing much better now without the weeds. They're all sprouting and look way better. Well, they're going to be fine. They're all coming out with new sprouts. That one maybe not because I moved it. But these are all tangerines, grapefruits. This one's flowering, but we're probably not going to let it fruit. It's just too small. But these are all tangerines. This one is a little yellow, something deficient there. But it'll snap out of it when it starts to rain. I think because a lot of them are looking green. I guess we can go around this way because we got a new path cut in. These are something grows wild here. We found it in one of the parks. They had it labeled and said that they're edible, but we haven't really tried. There's another one here. These are all the same species, but they're similar but a little bit different. Some of the fruits are bigger than others. One of these days we're going to try to eat it. These are grafted rambutans. We planted these last year and they're doing well. They also had weeds up over the top of them. So you can see we did quite a number on the weeds. I was able to get the mower through here. This is a same thing, it's a rambutan. This one over here looks like it's going to flower. It's awful small to flower, but it is grafted. Yeah, that's definitely flowers. You can zoom in on this one. So we'll see what happens. I might not let it fruit, maybe 1 or 2, but it's kind of small, so I want it to grow first. This was our sweet potato patch. We got sweet potatoes out of that we planted last year. And we had a lot of sweet potatoes, but the rats ate probably half of them. So we're trying to replant it. But it's raining regularly now, but not enough to soak into the soil. So we're still waiting for the monsoon rains. That'll help. This is our longan. We planted that last year. I believe it's a Kohala longan. And these are all lychees that I planted last year, and they're air layers from a lychee tree that's right down the road that's actually fruiting. So they're gonna, hopefully they're gonna fruit here. I don't know which variety it is, but I'm guessing by the looks of it that it's probably Mauritius. And the tree that we got it from was here a long time, so they didn't have a lot of the new varieties back when the guy said that they planted that tree. It's a big tree, and there's only a couple of trees, and they all seem to have come from that same tree. Because when the guy brought it in from Florida, he said he used to sell air layers off of it. So that's from that tree. And they're all sprouting now, so they'll do. It looks like they'll do all right. Another longan tree. We bought this here. It was fruiting when we got it, actually, but we pulled the fruit off. So it's doing okay. It's growing pretty good. There's another longan. A lychee that we bought in Home Depot, and I believe they said it was a sweet cliff. The leaves are kind of big, but we'll see what happens. It's probably a different variety than those other ones, though. It's doing okay. So I think we got a tour of everything we've got in the ground so far. As we get more planted, we'll make new videos.